Acting Police Commissioner Henry Green says ridding the Stabroek Market area of minibus touts must be done as soon as possible. This comment comes in light of concerns raised about dangerous touts posed to people traversing the area, especially around the busiest time of the year, Christmas. Nicasia Logan has more.
Clean up the market. We don't want touting in this country. It must stop. Touting must stop.
The acting police commissioner has charged the commander of A Division, Leroy Brommel, and the traffic chief, Neil Semple, to rid the Stabroek Market of minibus touts. Commissioner Green also made it clear that ranks are to ensure that people who are found lying in those surroundings should also be removed.
A lot of the touts are people doing other things. Tout is only in front. Many of them are bandits. They're passing information. They're telling the man to leave. They're the people doing it. And we must stop the touting in this country.
Green has expressed hope that the Stabroek Market area could return to state of security. But in the meantime, the force last week unveiled a massive security plan for the festive season. They have warned citizens, however, to not become complacent about their own security, even as scores of ranks will be traversing city streets during this period. Nicasia Logan reporting for the NCN 6 o'clock news.
Thanks for staying with the NCN 6 o'clock news. The establishment of a national search and rescue unit is on the cards and already work has started. This is according to Transport and Hydraulics Minister Robeson Ben, who at a media conference yesterday said more work is to be done on the unit. Edward Lane reports.
Following the disappearance of the United States registered Beach King aircraft on November 1 last, veteran pilot and owner of Roraima Airways, Captain Jerry Govaya, issued a call for the establishment of a National Search and Rescue Council.
That is chaired by maybe the Prime Minister, with people like the Police Commissioner, the Chief of Staff, and the Head of the Fire Service, and the Ministry of Health, and the private sector, and the Civil Aviation Authority, sitting there and planning and looking at all the possibilities and what is it do we need? What do we need to do in case these emergencies? What is the protocols? And then what is the resources we need to bring to the table? And we need to exercise those systems to make sure those systems are working.
Govaya claimed that several meetings regarding a search and rescue council were held with the Transport Minister and proposals were submitted, but to no avail. But Transport Minister Robeson Ben said that already some work has been done on the establishment of a similar body.
We have a draft search and rescue policy document which involves the not only aircraft search and rescue but maritime search and rescue. It has to take into account what other agencies can bring.
And contrary to what Govaya has called for, Mr. Ben outlined that the plan must be comprehensive and take into account all possible disasters, not only river or air mishaps.
Guyana, with respect to search and rescue, maybe which we are not always aware of, the typical coordination for search and rescue in some places will have to do with missing persons wandering off in the bush, airplane and boating accidents, response to maritime disasters and so on. But we too would have to consider issues relating to a breach in the sea defense, which may swamp a large area, a breach in the conservancy.
The Transport Minister has called on private organizations in the aviation industry to work with aviation authorities in the setting up of any search and rescue unit. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
Acting Police Commissioner Henry Green says any police ranked from breaking the law will be dealt with accordingly. This comes in light of numerous complaints of harassment sent to the Acting Commissioner from public-spirited citizens. Nicasia Logan has details.
And we deal with them in the same way they do it. You do nonsense, we deal with you in the same manner. If you have to be charged, you're charged. If you have to be dismissed, you're dismissed. We do not tolerate any sort of nonsensical behavior coming from any one of our staff. Once they're caught doing it, we put the law on them. Whatever the law is, whatever regulations are, we deal with them. So be assured that we are not compromising with our staff. We are ensuring that work gets on.
The acting commissioner also pointed out that if a rank is suspected to be involved in criminal activities, then the necessary systems are in place to address such.
We do the intelligence on him, and then we set him up, or we make sure that we are there when he does what he does. And then he's caught and dealt. Well, yesterday we caught one of them. Red-handed policeman, traffic rank. And he's going where he has to go.
Mr. Green says regardless of what many citizens believe, police officers who break the law are made to pay the price. Meanwhile, the commissioner says that he is grateful for the recent training given to his ranks by an overseas-based organization. The disciplinarian pointed out that there was training in anti-crime unit among other topics during a 4-week period.
We have been getting a lot of help through the reforms that are on the way. And there's lots to come in terms of the IDB program, the planning for the future. Much of it is futuristic, the lab, DORA, where we have the training college, etc. Those things are to come. But we, I'm saying, have benefited significantly from the help given.
The acting commissioner disclosed that officers have renewed motivation to go into the fields and fulfill their mandate given the recent attention they have been given. Reporting for the NCN 6 o'clock news, I am Nacasia Logan.
A Kokoni ambulance transporting a patient to the Aichuni hospital around 5:30 hours this morning ran overboard after it encountered problems while on a barge. Reports are that the ambulance boarded the Edwards crossing and headed to the other crossing at Jeep Landing when the mishap occurred. When on the other side, the planks were placed for the vehicles to disembark, but the ambulance missed the plank and ended up overboard. The occupants, which comprised of the driver, a patient, and 2 nurses, were trapped in the vehicle. Quick response by the passengers and crewmen of the barge saved the life of the occupants, while the patient was returned to the Kokoni Hospital, where they were admitted. The Guyana National Bureau of Standards is calling on businesses to get on board with correct weights and measures to compete in the global marketplace. Executive Director Dr. Chatterpaul Ramcharan says the Bureau is working with the IDB and regional bodies to expand and improve services in metrology to better support trade agreements.
With the Caribbean single and market economy on the move, the issue of weights and measurements will play an important role. It is even more necessary in light of the recent signing of the Economic Partnership Agreement with Europe. Executive Director of the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, Dr. Chatterpaul Ramcharan, says the Bureau is working with regional and international bodies to expand and improve services in this direction.
We can improve on the services we're already offering and expand on these, make them more efficient and effective so that industry can benefit. It will have a significant impact on the operations of our industries where measurements are concerned, calibration activities as well. And all of this has an ultimate objective is to support trade and trading, to make our trade far more competitive.
Dr. Ramcharan is calling on businesses to fully utilize the Bureau's services in the calibration and verification of scales.
We have, in fact, a number of businesses on board. They are using metrology services right now. The services that we don't have in Guyana, they are going overseas to have that in the Caribbean and beyond the Caribbean, and we are trying to reverse that. But it's very important for any business, especially if you're exporting. If you're sending a shipment of goods, whether rice, sugar, or fruits or vegetables, and the mass consideration or the weight of that shipment going, it must be accurate within the tolerance limits.
In the meantime, Mr. Robert Medford from the Caribbean Institute of Metrology says this is important for equity in trade, where both businesses and consumers benefit.
Now it's a benefit both to the business and a benefit to the consumers. We want to make sure that there is this equity in trade. It same apply to when you're trying to enter the different markets. There must be this equity in trade. So one person cannot say they're getting robbed on one end and the next person cannot say they're getting robbed on this end. So that equity must be established. Hence, we need to develop our measurement infrastructure and move ahead.
The importance of traceability, verification, and calibration services were addressed at the recent workshop held by the Bureau of Standards and the Caribbean Organization for Standards and Quality.